You're listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM. My name's Natalie. Here until 6 o'clock. Timeslides is on every Saturday, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. Yes, you get 2 hours. We used to do 1 hour, but now I'm getting used to doing 2. We've been doing 2 for about 6-7 weeks. I'm getting used to doing 2 hours. It's, gives me a chance to get a lot more music, a lot more stuff happen. So now we have guests live in the studio, which I really love. I love having people here in the studio. And we've got 2 of the members from a local Sydney band, Marc With A Sea. And we have Mark and we have Richard. And welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you. Hello.
Thanks. Hello.
Thanks for having us.
And Richard's voice might sound familiar because Richard was it was sort of January, I think he came in.
It was early
February.
Early
yeah.
Yep.
That Richard came in sort of flying solo, and he loved it so much he's brought Mark with him this time as well, so that the guys have come in together.
You never know, one day we might have the whole band here for the way we're going.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, we were just discussing off air, you can bring I've had bands bring their drum kit and the drummer sits near the door and, it works somehow, so we could have the whole band.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a... hey, the studio's a reasonable size, so it might actually work. So you're welcome anytime. So I love to have people in the studio. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Now we've sort of, Richard, when you were here in February, but for maybe people who, stupidly didn't listen that day, why would they not have listened to hear you talking? But tell us, guys, about Marc With A Sea, and it's S-E-A. So I got confused. I thought it was actually Marc With A Sea, as in just the letter C. My head my head was spinning like.
You thought we were called Mark. That's right.
yeah. I'm so embarrassed. I thought
don't be. It's not easy. Yeah.
I think we discussed last time. I had some misgivings about the name, but as we decided, it actually is a bit of a conversation starter because when, even at work or socially, people ask me the name of the band, and I tell them, and I've got to explain it 3 or 4 different ways. It becomes a conversation, and maybe it sticks in their mind. So
I literally thought when you were saying it's Marc With A Sea, you meant it's Mark, as in instead of M-A-R-K. M-A-R-C, and I thought the band was just called Mark, but with the C.
With a C, yeah. I could have done that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I'm like, okay, now I'm really embarrassed.
Well, since I was here last time, maybe Mark should give us a bit of the spiel of
how it came about.
Maybe even going back prior to the band, because as I mentioned, you started out many years ago as a sort of a solo.
Yeah. Look, so I have been writing songs for a long time by myself, and prior to that, I was in a cover band with some dear mates called Dolphin, which did covers of a band called Flipper, and that were great times. And then that sort of ended.
Did you do the dolphin noises as well?
No, well, yeah, just lots of distortion. And then that ended, and then I kind of went off and went to acting school and did lived a life through there, and but always in the background I was writing songs just on my guitar, and then I kind of got to a point a few years ago, and I just thought, I'd love to be in a band. I want to give this a go. I just would sort of, every time I'd rehearse, I just imagine a crowd of thousands, and me just playing with, looking over at the drummer or the bass player or the guitarist, going, okay, it's your lead break, dude. Okay, give us a drum roll, man. And so, just kind of got the ball rolling and teed up with the guys through Facebook and other contemporary internet connections that weren't around in the early 90s. So, and the name itself, I've just always in my life said Marc With A Sea. I can remember early childhood memories in primary school, Mark telling teachers misspelling my name and me just going, no, it's Marc With A Sea. Even today, people ask, I go, Marc With A Sea, because they look at documentation or whatever. I go, yes, Marc With A Sea, or I go, Marc With A Sea. I bought some tea on Friday, and
so there's a bit of band promotion going on.
Oh yeah, it's just whether people know about it or not. It's kind of just under the radar. It's my kind of plan to sort of mass indoctrinate the population and just push a button, and they'll just come on board. So
everybody will be just walking around Sydney going, Marc With A Sea, Marc With A Sea, Marc With A Sea.
Yeah, so that's a little talk.
So it was about mid 2018, I think we got together.
Yeah. Rick's the original member of the band.
Yeah. I answered it was a Gumtree ad, wasn't it?
I think it was Gumtree, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and
So you're the OG.
Yeah, well, I just...
apparently that's the short now for original, it's the OG.
yeah, man.
Yeah, look, I'd been, as I probably said last time, I've been looking for an opportunity to play for quite a while, but all the ads you see are, they look quite promising, and then you get to the bottom and they say, looking for people 18, 25, and you go, I'm in my 40s.
Sure, no, come on, you look about 24,
no,
25.
No.
But, you just lied. Yeah.
But there must have been something about your ad, and I realised that you're actually a bit older, and I don't think I stalked you online, but I figured, no, this seems like a middle-aged dude as well. So,
Yeah.
but which it's very, very rare. Very
To
rare
find a middle-aged dude on.
Yeah, and at that time, not that I'm much better now, but I was pretty green, and I didn't have the confidence to go and start my own thing. So, because I didn't feel confident enough in my ability. But so it was nice to see this ad and respond to it. So yeah.
And if you were trying to explain to someone what sort of music does Marc With A Sea play, what are we about? Like, what would your answer to that be?
We're just talking about that outside.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but so the things that we've just published to Bandcamp recently, which we're gonna hear from soon. Some of the feedback I've been getting from people, probably the thing that pops up the most is probably Hoodoo Gurus. And a mate mentioned, actually, I was told by my family not to say so much this time. So I'm very self-conscious. I'll have to try and do something else. So when I pause, that's when I'm about to say I think. Paul Kelly, sorry.
I think your family should just be proud that you're on the radio.
You're on the air, man.
Sorry, that's right. Paul Kelly was the other one, which I hadn't heard before. That sort of surprised me a little, but I can hear it definitely in some of the sort of Coloured Girls.
Yeah,
sort of 80s kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're just having a chat out the front, like having brought some CDs of early influences, and just thinking that what I've brought in a lot of it doesn't sound like what we write. It's kind of just what I've grown up listening to and have been inspired by, and then just got a guitar. But
an influence doesn't mean that you're going to exact copy.
No. So it's all that stuff about bands, the way bands write, how they write, how their songs are formatted, their lyrics, all that stuff. So my heroes have just been independent artists, or just artists that do their own thing and are kind of loud and proud about it. Like, I've written this song and that's it, and here we go, and we're doing another one, and I'm saying this, and and I'm like, oh man. I just found that in the 80s in high school really refreshing to stumble over music like that when there was lots of great mainstream stuff going on in the 80s, Romantics and all this great stuff, but I was like, I want some guitar, man. And sort of came across other stuff that really got me going. So
cool. Well, let's listen to a track by Marc With A Sea. Now I can't remember. It's just track one we've got lined up from the CD. So
we can do what's it called?
You can tell me. I can't remember.
A tail announce? Is that what they call it?
A back announce.
A back announce. We can back announce it. Yeah.
We'll listen, and then you can tell me what it is like, because it's written on the CD, and the CD's now in
it's
the
a lucky
mixer.
Yeah.
We'll find out what it is.
Go.
You're listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM. I'm Natalie, with my guest in the studio, Marc With A Sea, and this is them.
Mixing up with the moonlight, stirring easy. As the
terminology is back announcing the tracks. So you guys, so Mark and Richard, that was your track that you chose, so you can back announce.
Yes, I'll back announce it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Flipper, and that was their song, "The Light, the Sound," off their 1984 album. I think it was Gone Fishing. And Flipper were a hugely influential band on my psyche in the 80s in high school. And I just wanted to play some of their music. It's kind of hearing those guys, just a lot of their earlier stuff is kind of much, that particular album, I'm going over the place, that particular album is quite sort of esoteric and was described as forklifts colliding in slow motion at the bottom of the ocean. And resonating a sound, and it's kind of very much like that. But their early stuff was kind of like really kind of punky grunge stuff.
I was going to say I'm not familiar with them, but I know them. Like they used to play with Black Flag and that California hardcore scene, probably a bit earlier in the early 80s. So that's what. Yeah, I was actually quite surprised by kind of post rock sort of thing.
Yeah. Before that, I was just going to say, before that, we also played because on the Timeslides program today here at 2RRR, we've got Mark and Richard from Marc With A Sea, and that's SEA, as we've had a 10-minute discussion about already.
But there's more.
But that was a track, and that was a track of yours, guys, and that was called
Let Me Go Easy.
And because you guys have just recorded like an album or an EP, or what would you call it?
Well, we're talking about that. I mean, what does it mean these days? 3 tracks. Okay. So you could call it a maxi single. Mini EP. I don't know what we call it now. So we recorded that with Elliot. At Song Cave in Lawson, up in the Blue Mountains.
Yep.
We did that back in February. February.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, we started.
A little while back.
So a bit of a trek up to the mountains to record.
It wasn't too bad. We went up there. I only went up once on a Saturday morning and did my bass tracks, and I was pretty nervous. So when I listened back to the songs, the bass lines are like the basic versions. When I play live, I tend to muck around and do some other stuff, but I was too afraid to make a mistake in the studio, so I kept it very, very, very straight. Basically, But you were up there a couple of times, weren't you, doing vocals?
Yeah, 3 times. I think I went up and recorded vocals and rhythm guitar, and then we came up. Then Marty on drums came up and laid down the drums, and
I think he was only there the day I was.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys were there together, and then Cole on lead guitar came up, and I was there with him as well. Yeah. So.
And is it exciting to sort of? I mean, it's only well, it's not only, but it's 3 tracks. It's not like a big 12, album. But is it exciting to have? An EP, to have something,
absolutely.
You can put out.
Absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah. Like I was saying off air, I just couldn't imagine that I'd be in this position 3 years ago.
Of being at 2RRR, I know a lot of
yeah, that's right.
A lot of
and
people say that.
Being on your show now, oh my God, I'm here.
It's all downhill.
I made it. So it was kind of like, wow, man, here we are. We got the fact we've got the band together. We've actually recorded. We're being played on the radio, and I get to talk on radio. That's about it. It's fantastic.
I love it. It's a cool feeling. I've had bands when I've played their song, played their CD, and I've had someone who was listening in the car and they were so excited. They're like, "Oh, our song is on the radio." It might only be a community radio. Well, not only. I mean, it's a great community radio station, but I guess a lot of people, that's what community radio is about. I mean, I can't play an instrument, I can't sing, I'm not in a band. So, but I feel like this is what. Community radio, and Kev, who does the Sydney Sounds program here on a Saturday afternoon, very much about local music, because this is what we can try and do to help. I guess local bands. This is what we can do, because I think you guys wouldn't maybe. I'm not saying you wouldn't be on another radio station, but you might not get a lot of commercial radio station airing.
I was saying before,
so it's great to be able to help. I
was saying before, I think we're a bit old for Triple J Unearthed, so I think we.
Look, you never know.
I don't know.
You could try.
I think we have unearthed some old dudes.
But like you were saying, I was actually coming home last Saturday from a rehearsal with my other band. And
because you can't be just in one band. So
that's right. And
most musicians aren't.
So. And we finished at 4, and I put the radio on, and you started the show with 2 of our songs. And so I'm driving through the traffic, listening to myself on the radio, or my band on the radio, which was awesome. So
I know. It's cool. I'm glad. It's just, I like that when bands can go, our song's on the radio, not on triple.
It's not Triple M.
No, that's fine. It doesn't have to be. It's still, it's still out there, so it's exciting.
It is. It's really exciting, and I just think community radio is fantastic. It reminds me of, once again, back in the 80s, in high school, listening to 3PBS in Melbourne and 3RRR down there, and they were the stations I listened to, because they were playing the bands that we were kind of sneaking into pubs to see.
Yeah.
And awesome, they'll play all kinds of stuff, bootlegs of local bands and stuff. It was fantastic in the face of kind of,
before the internet and streaming, you didn't have access. Like if you were into alternative music, I mean, you remember as well, you had. Well, I didn't have a job, so I couldn't afford to buy much music. So I was giving tapes to all my mates, taping CDs and records, and you would find a handful of community radio shows who played the stuff you liked, and you'd put a cassette in and tape the program, and So
but when the song came on the TV, you'd get your cassette recorder near the TV and try and record.
When you were watching Rage,
that's right.
Early in the morning after coming home from the party after a few drinks. Yeah.
So we were just talking about the recordings. I mean, how do you guys find the recording process? Is it fun? Is it tiresome? I mean, obviously most bands like to perform live. That's the reason why most bands do get together, so they can jam and play live. But I mean, how was the actual recording process? Is it fun? Is it boring? Is it like it's just part of we've got to do it? Or how do you feel about that?
Oh, I love it. I love it for what it is. I'd never done it before. I'd done home demos, just playing a guitar and done a little bit of time mixing on myself. But I was fascinated about the process. I thought, does the band all go in together? But we actually didn't. We came in separately and recorded the sort of.
Well, there wasn't really space anyway. It was
it's
very small.
It's kind of like this.
Studio,
fantastic, and we're looking forward to getting back there, Elliot. So, but I loved it. I love the fact that you could really just concentrate on separate parts, and it made me rehearse much more differently because I thought, okay, I'm just playing guitar today. I'm not actually singing. Yeah. So it actually exposed a lot of things I think I was getting away with live because there was Cole on the other guitar and there's all of the frequencies taken up by the drum and bass. And I was like, oh, here we go, man. So I really enjoyed that level of kind of going, oh, and since then it's made me think about, potentially if and when we record more, as I'm playing at home at the moment, it's really making me much more focused on the detail of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll play another track. This is track 2 on the CD that you've brought me in. Again, I don't know what the song is now, so it's a lottery. This is a song by Marc With A Sea, and we've got Mark and Richard. We should do a shout out. We didn't even mention the other members of the band.
Yeah.
Four piece.
Yeah,
yes.
So we mentioned Cole.
Sorry to the other members of the band.
Yeah, Cole on lead guitar.
About them.
Cole's up in the Blue Mountains, and Marty on drums in the Inner West. So hello.
Are they listening?
I hope so.
Hope so.
Yeah, hope so. I think Marty.
Well, hello, Cole and Marty. Hopefully you're listening. So shout out to the other members of the band. It's not just all about Mark and Richard. So
yes, it is. That's all it is.
So we'll play another track. This is Marc With A Sea, my guest here in the studio today. My name's Natalie. You are listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM.
I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. I bet it's true. That's all I seem to do. I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. And when I'm feeling bold, I let them take hold. Gonna be a rock star, a famous actor, a brilliant director, just a good measure. I'll see the future with my human computer. That's right, my lord, I'm gonna build a cyborg. I know I got cats to feed and a mortgage to pay, and bills always have a habit of finding you, they say. I'm gonna keep my day job so we can still eat every day. I'm just saying that sometimes, darling, I'm gonna seem a little vague, 'cause I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. I admit it's true. That's all I wanna do. I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. And when I'm feeling bold, I let them take hold. But perhaps as I reach out and stretch up for that star, something will come our way, spiraling from afar.
listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM. My name's Natalie. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's just gone 5:01. I'm here through till 6 o'clock. Timeslides is on every Saturday, 4 till 6. We've got guests in the studio. They've been hanging out with me this afternoon. We've got Marc and Richard from local Sydney band Marc With A Sea. And I think that was Mark of Cain. Richard, that was
Marc
your
of Cain,
choice?
A song called Battle Sick off their debut album. I'm a bit excited because they're playing some gigs in August.
Oh, okay, cool.
I got my tickets yesterday, so yeah, very excited. I last saw them about 3 years ago at the
Well, we
Factory.
all saw bands about 3 years ago. It feels like so long since we saw.
Yeah, and they're actually being inducted into the South Australian Music Hall of Fame or something.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so but before that, we heard Living
One
on
of your
Dreams.
songs,
Yes.
which is the Marc With A Sea track.
Another one of our songs from Bandcamp. And again, I can't really say our EP or certainly not album, but
Yeah.
from
It will be
our
one day.
release. Our
And
release.
so
on
if
Yeah.
people want to find, it's on Bandcamp and SoundCloud and all those sorts of streaming
Yeah,
services.
if you go to
or-
our Facebook page, you can.
and it's MARC with AC, SEA.
That's right,
For
yes.
people to look for it, if they're
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
for it, that's how you
right.
spell it.
Yeah,
So-
and
Yeah.
you'll also find it on Bandcamp easily enough. So yeah.
So
So maybe you could talk about that song because there's kind of two parts. Like when we started, Marc had probably 10 or a dozen. Like our first 10 or a dozen songs as a band had already existed as songs that Marc would perform as a
Right.
solo artist.
Yep.
And then I think more recently you're always writing, so I can sort of hear a difference. Some of the later stuff you wrote for the band with the band in mind, I guess.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it sound different to you?
Well, the earlier stuff, of which I think that track is one of them, it's got more of a singer-songwriter sound to it. Yeah, like a couple of the songs that are pretty much dropped off the live set list now were very like Garden Daydream Man, Like,
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah, we haven't
like,
played
like they sound very much like a folky performer with acoustic guitar and singing.
Yeah.
Done with a band, but yeah, some of our later stuff is sounding a bit more sort of rocky, and
Yeah, that's kind of happened. And now that I'm working with the guys and hearing, like Marty on drums saying, look, you don't need to actually write. Now that you're with a band, we can do stuff that you don't have to be playing all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a transition coming into working with the guys and just navigating that. And now when I play, I go, oh, Cole can put a solo in there. Oh, I'm sure Marty will do some drum stuff there.
Yeah,
Rick, maybe you can fiddle with the bass here.
I think once or twice we've all said to Marc, like, you can just hit the note from that bar. You don't have to, you can just hit that note, let it ring
Yeah.
out for a bit.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah,
Because obviously if you're a solo, you kind of, when you're a solo performer, you're the lead, you're the rhythm, you're the drummer almost. You're
that's
trying
right.
to create that rhythm with just on
Yeah.
your guitar. So
Yeah.
So we were talking just off air. You guys are keen to look at doing some gigs, and I mean, you don't have any sort of currently. So, but call out if anybody does want to play with Marc With A Sea.
Yeah, it occurred to me, look, if there's any, I know some of your friends are in bands. I mean, if there's anyone listening that, I think that, some time ago, I kind of took it upon myself to try and find us some gigs, probably because I was the keenest one to play live. And I thought, well, it's not going to happen unless, I give it a go. And so I might have touched on this last time, but I approached a few venues thinking that it was the way it used to be, that somebody booked a venue, and so you would, back in the day, you'd send a demo tape or something, and these days, you send them your social links, and if they liked the sound of you, they would put you on a bill. But I kind of learnt that actually it doesn't work that way anymore. Venues now want a band to come to them with, 2 or 3 other bands and say, I've got this
This is
whole
the gig, yeah.
night
And an audience
I've got
too,
this
right?
whole package, and look at our socials. You can see how many likes we have, and that venue might say, okay, yeah, we'll give you a chance. So it's a little bit different. So the way, obviously the best way to get gigs, and it's probably always been the way as well, is you just get to know other bands,
Yeah,
and become
sure.
friends, and then if they've got a gig and they've got a spot free, they'll have you and so
Well, you're in
forth.
another band, so your other band and Marc With A Sea, you guys
Yeah, well,
maybe do a gig together.
it's interesting because
You're in
that
another band called the 1978?
1978.
Yep, 1978.
who
yep.
I should say are playing next Friday at the Native Rose Hotel in Roselle. We're playing with another band from Wollongong called the Flippers. So that'll be a good night of sort of covers, punk, post-punk, and mod, new wave sort of things. But yeah, so that being a cover band and us being originals, the venues kind of don't always cross over. Like, so for example, 1978 can't really get a run at Mosh Pit in Erskineville because they're very much about original bands, for
Right, yeah,
example.
yeah.
So So there's that kind of thing going on as well.
We're playing at the Mosh Pit.
Yeah, we're playing at a band comp at Mosh Pit.
Cool.
I think it's the 13th of July, coming up in a little while. That was something that we were booked to do last year or the year before, but COVID got in the way.
Yeah.
So look, we've done a few band camps over the years, just as I think we did them initially just to get a bit of stage experience, and playing to empty rooms at Kelly's on King.
Yeah, man. So book us, folks. We're keen. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, look,
bar mitzvahs.
I'm sure there are other
weddings, parties, anything.
Yeah, there's probably other people in other bands around in a similar situation that maybe they've got a gig and maybe they need a band to play, and if you like what you hear, then
so
get in touch.
Let's talk about. I mean, you guys write songs, originals. It's not not covers band. Tell us about I'm always interested in bands and their songwriting, process. Like some bands, it's just one person does the songwriting and they bring the music, they bring the song in and say, this is the song, and others it's a collaborative process. Or I mean, what's the process with Marc With A Sea? What's the band's songwriting process?
It's kind of like that at the moment. So in terms of I'll write songs at home, I'll write the songs and I'll bring them to the band, but I'm very open to the input from the guys. So in terms of
So it's a democracy, not an autocracy. So
funny moment. Let's just see. And because the fact I'm just flattered and humbled by the fact that the guys keep turning up. They keep doing their homework. They just bring such great ideas, and they bring things to the songs that I would never have imagined.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of playing in a band. For me, having played solo, I was like, oh man, that's an amazing bass lick, like in Living on Dreams, there's this little bit that Rick does. He goes dum 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 dum. I was like, I would never have thought of something like that. Yeah. So it's just that idea that together we can just make it a bigger and better thing, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it probably hasn't changed a lot because, as I said, when we got started, you had these fully self-contained songs. It was a matter of just showing us, and we would learn our parts and bring them to life. And that probably hasn't changed a whole lot, even though what you've written later has been with the band in mind. I think you're still pretty much doing that. And I know that Cole's brought a song to the band, which we haven't really sort of had a chance to work on too much.
No, that's right, exactly. So,
and Mark's often telling me, to bring some ideas. But
yeah, I was just going to say, Richard, have you sort of sat down and gone?
I have ideas,
do
but
some songwriting.
I'm kind of lazy, and I've always said, look, honestly, I have always really liked Mark's songs, so it's not like I'm standing there thinking, this is pretty crap. I think I might have to step in here. Like, it's just never been an issue. So yeah. So look, one day I might get around to it, but I tend to, being a bass player, I guess, I tend to think in terms of riffs, and I might think about a riff when I'm mucking around, or just randomly, but then I don't get it down and I forget about it. So
well, get your phone out. Just have your phone there and press record. Just capture those.
We'll see.
So do you sometimes, Mark, just like you'll be, I don't know, does it happen like you're driving along and just a line sort of comes to you? Or I've had bands say to me that like that they were sitting in the bathroom and like literally they're on the toilet and something came to them while they're on the and they were like, got to write it down, got to get me a pen and paper.
Yeah, I've always got a pen and paper on my phone close. It's totally random, so can it be any given moment. I mean, Living on Dreams, actually, I play guitar before I go to work every day, and my partner Tonya came in and she popped her head in and said, don't forget your day job, don't forget to go to work. So I was having a great old time, and then I just kind of looked at her and this line just came out of my head like, I'm living on dreams. And then she laughed and went, hang on a minute, that's a song. So I ran off and kind of wrote that. So
I hope you made it to work in time.
I did, I got to work, yeah, thinking of the song. So it's kind of that, and so I'm always playing when I'm playing at home, fiddling around and doodling, and before I kind of rehearse the songs that we have, often I make a mistake and I go, hang on a minute, there's something in that, and I'll go back and record that. I'll hear someone say a comment about something that I just think is interesting. I go, that's a song.
Yeah.
And I'll take that away and I'll just write words to it and that sort of thing. So it's kind of any which way but loose, really.
Cool. Well, we'll play another track. We're going to play another track from Marc With A Sea, and we've got Mark and Richard from the band who are my guests here in the studio joining me on the Timeslides program today, which you are listening to on 2RRR 88.5 FM. It's about 11 past 5. We're through here until 6 o'clock, and the guys have said, look, they want to stay. They want to keep me company for the rest of the show, so they'll be here with me until 6 o'clock. After 6, we've got Jeremy with Quiet Fire, and Jeremy will be here with you from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock. But let's play some more Marc With A Sea.
Welcome everybody to BBC4. This is your life. Welcome, Peter Huxley. Have a seat, Peter. Bloody good to see you. Whiskey?
I'm loving the Facebook, I'm loving the Insta, I'm loving the pizza paid with my Visa. I like all the mod cons, like the television and refrigeration, keeping things cool. I love living in the modern age. I just wouldn't survive in a cave. My enemies would roast me on a fire. A terrible kennel in the prehistoric funeral pyre. I like all the robots and the internet, electronic reminders so I won't forget. Do you like a sandwich or a bowl of soup? Dining out with your family in a fancy suit. I love living in the modern age. I just wouldn't survive in a cave. My enemies would roast me on a fire. A terrible kennel in the prehistoric funeral pyre. I'm telling you that we've come from the stars and we've come to this far. Don't know where we're going, but it's happening so fast. I feel we're lost. Our digital species not related to Nietzsche's, our brand new format. Hold on to your hat, or even your cat. They'll soon be prefab.
So Peter, thanks for coming this evening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Really enjoyed your new album. Fantastic. Love the saxophone. Just a little one for my wife. Thank you. See you later. Bloody good to see you. Whiskey?
Big finish there. That, of course, that was Black Sabbath, right? So you're listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM. We've got Mark and Richard from Marc With A Sea. They're hanging out with me today, and they're also guest programming. You bit like the Rage guest programmers. You are the 2RRR guest programmers. That was Black Sabbath. What track was that, Mark?
That was Killing Yourself to Live off Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
And before that, of course, we played a Marc With A Sea track. And what was that track that we played?
It was Modern Age.
Okay.
Modern Age, yes.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I was gonna-
Mental
That's
blank.
very professional back
said it.
announcing there, guys.
I said it a minute ago off
I paused
air.
because it's got that. We have two versions of that. So there's
Yes.
there's one with it's called BBC Vocals, where I was in the studio and Elliot, who was mixing and producing for us, I did a little. I thought they were just setting mic levels. And I just you said, hey, just talk for a bit. And I thought I was just going to set the levels. So I just carried on with this silly little improv conversation. Anyway, next thing I know, he's cut it into the song. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So
So there's two. There's sort of a regular version, and then there's the version with that vocal thing on it, which I think that's your acting training coming out, isn't it?
I think it is a little bit, yeah, and just madness more than anything else. For those who know and love me, you'll understand what I mean. Yeah.
So we're chatting with Mark and Richard. They're from Marc With A Sea. They're hanging out with me here on 2RRR 88.5 FM. If you want to find out what's on when here at 2RRR, because we are here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, our lovely website is 2rrr.org.au, and you'll find a full program guide. What's on when? We have lots of different programs on. You can call us here in the studio, 9816-2777, if you want to talk to any of the announcers. If you want to call the office during normal business hours, it's 9816-2988. And that number you can find out if you want to become a member, become a volunteer, become a sponsor, do the announcers course that we run here. Call the office 98162988. You can also send them an email. It's office@2rrr.org.au. Lots of ways to get in touch. I'm here until 6 o'clock, so Timeslides is on 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. Jeremy's coming up from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock. So Richard and Mark are hanging out with me for another half an hour. They're loving it, guys. You were like, let's stay till 6.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, having a good time.
What do you mean it finishes at 6? I thought we were till 10.
I couldn't do that many hours. Like 2 hours, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Another 4, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You guys can work out how to press all these buttons and lock up after you leave. So
Yeah.
So we've been chatting obviously about the band, and we've been playing your songs, and tell us how you guys coped, I guess, in the obviously the last 2 years, COVID. I mean, that's all it's been, and music and arts was so badly affected.
Ravaged.
No pubs were closed, venues were closed. You couldn't go anywhere. I mean, you couldn't go. We've had 2 lockdowns here in Sydney, so there was, a lot of bands, I guess, turned to sort of streaming their performances, live. They'd play in one of the band members' houses or something, and or they try and do some streaming like that, live performances that way. Or I've spoken to other bands who sort of use that time to just write heaps of songs or do some recording. Even if during, say, if it was lockdown, you couldn't actually go to each other's houses, but so how did you guys, I guess, cope with COVID?
Well, I should say we didn't do any of that.
No, we kind of.
You did nothing. Okay,
No, well, I
move
think,
on. Next question.
I assume you were still writing, but as I said when I was here last time, for me personally, I just stopped playing because it really taught me that I need to have something to work towards, like a songs I need to learn for a rehearsal or for a gig, obviously, or for recording. But without that push, the motivation just drops away for me. And maybe it was just part of lockdown more generally that, it just sort of affected people in different ways.
Yeah,
but, I don't know about you. You probably picked the guitar up, I'd imagine, and played a lot.
I kind of just kept. It was funny. COVID was funny for me because my day job didn't stop. So my partner would she actually came home and was working from home.
Yeah.
But my actual routine didn't actually change that much. I was still heading out, riding my bike to work 4 days a week, and then just hanging out inside, obviously over the weekend, etc. For the whole kind of period.
Yeah.
So my routine normally is that I get up, I have breakfast, I play guitar for half an hour, I have a bit of writing session, whatever. Commute to work, come home, and sort of repeat for the rest of the week. That didn't change. So I just kept playing and just kept writing, really, tucking stuff away, and I thought, this could be good for that, So
It's great that we've, I I couldn't do this radio show for those 2 lockdowns that we had. Radio's not obviously an essential. Well, ours wasn't. I mean, I know the big commercials were still going, but yeah. So I wasn't coming here to do my show. I missed it so I pretty much had 4 months off. 'Cause, I mean, some people had the technology to record at home. I didn't, so it was just like, okay, well, that's a few months off. So you really miss it being part of your routine, I suppose. It's weird. So it's great that we can do this again. We can go and see bands. I mean, that's a big thing. You know, I like going and seeing live bands. I don't go and see one a week like say I used to when I was much younger. But it's great that we can now go and see. I mean, I'm going to see the Sunny Boys in a few weeks. It's they'll probably be in the Factory Theatre with God knows how many people, but it's exciting that we can go and do all these things again. I think we all really missed it, and people value. I mean, the previous government maybe didn't value arts as much. They didn't put a lot of support into it, but I think it made people, the lockdown and everything, made people realise, you know what, we need music, we need arts, we need this sort of stuff. It's what's kept people going in a way.
Absolutely. It's like the arts kept people alive, I reckon. It's just kept us sane. It's like, Netflix, music, all that stuff. Suddenly we're confined and we have the internet. And so that just became a vehicle for watching movies or listening to music. It's like we take that away. It would have been a very different experience. Absolutely.
Imagine if we'd had this happen 20 years ago when we didn't have, Facebook, we didn't have video chats, we didn't have any of
As I
that.
say to my kids, we had 4 TV stations and that's it, and there was no streaming, and
Yeah, man.
Imagine that.
Didn't even have a
if we'd gone
VCR.
imagine if we'd gone through this lockdown then. But we've come through it. We're here on. We're still in a. There is still COVID around, but at least we're sort of. People are just like, you know what? We're going to a gig. We're going here. We're going. We're going.
Yeah.
We're
Hopefully, at
doing
a point where it kind of got to that herd immunity to such, immunisations that are a point.
But I think one thing it has done, which is good, is I think it's made people realise that that they did miss that going to see a band or it might have been going to the cinema as well or going to restaurants, but I think people realise that they kind of miss that group activity. So, but hopefully, a lot of people sort of thinking, probably hadn't seen a band in years, thinking, gee, I'd love to go and see a band, and I hope now that they can, that they do. Sort of follow through on that, I guess.
Well, let's play some more. One last Marc With A Sea track.
Well, it's actually a different version of what we just heard.
Okay.
So we probably shouldn't do that.
Look, we can do it. Look.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my show, and we can do whatever we want.
This is the version of
this isn't a commercial radio program where we have to stick to the script. We can do whatever we want. So.
This is fantastic.
So this, I guess you call, is the straight version of the previous track without the voiceover.
Yeah, so that it'll have that absent. Yeah.
Let's play. Let's do this.
Yeah, cool.
Enjoy it. big finish there. You're listening to the Timeslides program on 2RRR 88.5 FM. My name's Natalie, hanging out with Mark and Richard from local Sydney band Marc With A Sea. The guys have been guest programming the show. We just played 3 tracks. We had a big mega 3. What did we just play, guys? Back announce. Do the professional back announcing.
Back announcing. That track that we just heard then was Frank Zappa and Zombie Wolf.
And prior to that, we heard from a Japanese group called Audio Active that I used to listen to back in the 90s, a song called 24 Hours Exploration. And prior to that, we had our track, which was eerily similar to the previous track of ours because we did 2 versions, one with a sort of a humorous voiceover. So that was the clean, I guess you call it, version of Modern Age.
Cool. So we're almost we've got just under 10 minutes left. So, but it's been heaps of fun having you guys on the show. We were talking off air. Maybe we'll get you in again, in a few months' time. Do some live tracks. You guys play live, so it'd
Sounds good.
Be fun.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully we might have some gigs to promote as well, which would be nice. So,
and I mean, if people want to find you guys, tell us about are you on Instagram, Facebook?
We're not on Insta actually. We probably should be. That's probably the next thing. We're definitely on Facebook. You can find us pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's Marc With A Sea, which is MARC with A C SEA.
Yeah, as in ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just type that in, you'll find us pretty easily, and you can reach us that way. That's probably the best.
Probably the best. There's also Bandcamp, but I think that's probably
actually, you can probably
do that as well.
You can contact us via Bandcamp as well.
Yeah.
And people will find the EP, the 3 songs. Have you sort of given it the EP a name, or is it just 3 songs?
No.
Is it? Yeah.
No, it's funny, isn't
So
it?
I guess people will
I
find
was
that
going to
on
talk to you about that.
Bandcamp,
Yeah.
SoundCloud, all those.
Yeah, maybe someone could come up with a name. We're happy to. I can throw it open to the general public. Yeah.
I think, like we touched on earlier, the idea is that we're going to, as money allows, we're going to keep adding to it, and then eventually we'll have an album's worth, and that'll be an album. I think that's what we'll do.
Watch this space as it grows. Yeah.
And you mentioned you're doing a band competition at the Mosh Pit.
Yeah, that is
a few weeks?
that's next month
Next
on
July,
I think, what did I say, the 13th or the 17th or something like that.
I think you said the 13th.
Tuesday.
Tuesday the 13th of July. That sounds about right. So that should be fun. It's always fun playing Mosh Pit. It's a great little venue.
Fantastic venue.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
People can check out, I guess, and go and head along. And I mean, you are, if you want to play with, if you've enjoyed listening to Mark and Richard today, and Marc With A Sea, if you want to play some gigs, hey, reach out to the guys, get in contact.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from anyone who needs a band for a gig. We'd love to hear from you.
If you're a fan, get in touch.
I'm sure the phone will be running off the hook. They've heard you on the Timeslides program on 2RRR. So,
absolutely.
of course.
Excellent.
Yes.
And should we do some shout outs to your other band members? I mean, you're not just a 2-piece, you are a 4-piece.
Yeah. Well, as we said, hello to Cole and to Marty. And actually, I should say a shout out to my family, to my wife Chris and my son Lachlan, who, they may have actually tuned out by now. This might have been
Do
a bit
they
long
normally
for
tune out when you start talking, or is it...
Yeah, sometimes. But, I think they might have been with us at 4:30. They may be with us now. But if you're there, guys, hello. I'll see you shortly. Yeah.
And Mark, did you want to do any shout outs to
Look, yes, thank you to Tonya, my very patient, long-suffering muse. Let's just say that. She's very patient, very supportive, and very loving, and keeps the songwriting fires burning. Thanks to all my friends and family who are listening. I think I texted my folks in Melbourne and said, hey, Mum and Dad, check this out. So I don't know if
I should say my mum, Denise, and my sister Kathy are listening, I believe, as well. Again, they may have... They may have
switched off by now.
Well, maybe Frank Zappa may well have done that. Anyway, if you're still listening, hello. Thanks.
Well, hello to everybody.
And Birdie. Again, he may have been here at 4:30, but who knows?
It's like an acceptance speech for the Academy Awards.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
We forgot to thank God. Anyway.
The whole human race.
My name's Natalie. This is the Timeslides program on 2RRR 88.5 FM. It's pretty much time for us to say goodbye. It's 5:54 because the next song is a bit of a long one. I'm back next Saturday, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. Jeremy is coming up next with Quiet Fire, so he'll be here with you from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock. If you want to find out what's on when, 2RRR.org.au. Lots of info on our lovely website of what programs are on and how you get in contact with us. I will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Big thank you, Mark and Richard. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for the better part of an hour and a half. So it's it was
loved it.
lots of fun. And yeah, hopefully we can line up and do the live stuff. You know, you come
Yep.
and play some stuff.
That'd be
live.
great.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you so much. And what are we
Cheers.
going to finish off with, Mark? I think this is you've chosen this one.
This is 10 years gone by, Led Zeppelin off the Physical Graffiti album.
Let's finish. Great track. Let's finish off with a Zeppelin track. I'm happy. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy your week. Thanks again, guys. Say
Thank you.
goodbye.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks very
See
much.
you guys.